Hello students, welcome to online classes of Sri Guru Independent PU College Kalburgi. This is the lecture number 7 in our chemistry classes. Till now we have covered the rate of reaction concept. Then we come across the rate law. In that rate law we come across this rate constant, and then order of reaction. We have solved the numerical questions also. Enough numerical questions we have solved on this concept. And in the last class we started with the types of chemical reaction. We have divided chemical reaction into two categories. One is elementary reaction, which completes in one step. No intermediate is involved in such reaction. Another one reaction, we call it as the complex reaction, which completes in many steps. It is multi-step reaction. And in this type of reaction, intermediates are involved. For example, A, our reactant, produces B. In the one step, it won't give B. In first step, maybe it gives A to C. C is formed. In second step, that C is consumed, and that C results to product B. So this C, we call it as intermediate. So intermediates are formed between reactant and product. There are some short-lived species in between these two, which appears in one step and which disappears in another step. We call them as the intermediate. Then in the complex reaction, every step we call it as the elementary reaction. The next point we said that intermediates are short-lived and they do not appear in the overall reaction. And this sequence of this elementary reaction gives overall reaction, and that sequence we call it as the mechanism of the reaction. Also we have started very important concept called as molecularity. I have written the definition and explained examples also. We said that number of reacting species, which may be atoms, ions or molecules, that take part in an elementary reaction, which must collide simultaneously to bring about chemical reaction. We have seen four features of this particular definition: number, reacting species, and elementary reaction, and collide simultaneously. And we have given some example like unimolecular reaction. It is the decomposition of ammonium nitrite to form nitrogen and H2O. Another reaction is decomposition of hydrogen iodide. 2 moles of HI gives H2 plus I2. And third one is trimolecular reaction, we call it. 2 moles of nitric oxide plus oxygen gives 2 moles of nitrogen dioxide. After this, we have seen one more reaction where potassium chlorate KClO3 plus 6FeSO4 plus 3H2SO4 gives KCl plus 3Fe2SO4 thrice plus 3H2SO4. And when we calculate the number of molecules involved, reactant molecules of course, in this reaction, it happens to be 10. But we said that those reactions which have molecularity more than 3 are very rare to take place, because the probability of simultaneous collision of the molecules, more than 3 molecules, is very rare. We have taken the example of the accidents which happens in road. Generally two vehicles face to face collide and the accident is resulted. So all this part we have completed, and the last point which we are stressing about is that particular reaction where molecularity is 10. We said that definitely it is complex reaction and it must have taken place in different steps. To those steps, stepwise description, we called it as the mechanism. Now today we'll go ahead and we look into one reaction in detail, and again we try to understand exactly how these reactions are taking place. So we have to again listen to this reaction example very carefully. The same example is given in NCERT book, so I am stressing on that. We have 2 moles of hydrogen peroxide. The iodide ion is a catalyst here, and alkaline medium is maintained, and it forms 2 moles of H2O and oxygen. A decomposition of hydrogen peroxide reaction is taking place. Now if we look at the rate equation of this particular reaction, in the differential form, it is negative this small d, why write this reactant hydrogen peroxide dt, and that equals to rate constant K, and this hydrogen peroxide raised to 1, nothing is written, means 1, and then iodide ion appears into this reaction. Definitely this particular reaction does not mention iodide ion in the reactant, but it is appearing in this rate law equation. How it is appearing? We know how this rate equation is made up of. It is experimentally determined. What we mean by experimentally determined, that also we have seen, that they increase the concentration of hydrogen peroxide 2 times by keeping this iodine concentration constant, and rate has been increased by 2 times, and we get this number 1. In the second set of experiment, they keep this hydrogen peroxide concentration constant, they increase this iodide ion concentration 2 times, and rate increased by 2 times. That's why we got these numbers. Now this is a complex reaction, it seems to be, because if you look at the rate equation, it does not match with the what reaction we have written. The proposed, or we can say evidences. What we mean by evidences, the possibility of this reaction, how the reaction takes place. The evidences suggested that reaction takes place in 2 steps, what we call them as the mechanism. The stepwise reactions we write. The first one is that out of these 2 molecules of H2O2, 1 molecule of hydrogen peroxide combines with this iodide ion, and it forms H2O, and this IO negative, we call it as hypoiodide ion. And in the step number 2, the 1 more molecule of hydrogen peroxide combines with this hypoiodide ion, and it forms H2O, and then oxygen and iodine is formed as the end product. So iodine has been appeared and disappeared and appeared. So we call this as the catalyst here. And this hypoiodide ion, which have been appeared in one step and consumed in the next step, we call such substance as the intermediate. We call such substance as the intermediate because it appears in one step and it gets consumed up in the next step. If we add these 2 reactions, of course common term we can cancel as we do in usually when we add the chemical equations. This is common term, so I will cancel this iodide ion and hypoiodide ion, and we get 2 moles of hydrogen peroxide and this 2 moles of H2O and 1 mole of oxygen. We call this as the overall reaction. We call this as the overall reaction. Now out of these two steps, the first step is the slow step. It takes more time to complete this particular step, and this step occurs in relatively shorter time, so we call it as the fast step. How it is determined? By looking at the rate law. The mechanism has been proposed. Now see the relationship between the rate law and this proposed mechanism. If you look at the number of molecules of H2O2 in this reaction is 1 in this particular step, and this iodide is also 1. The same is the stoichiometric coefficient, same is the exponents of the H2O2 in the rate equation. This is also the same. It means that the slow step is very crucial to decide the rate of the reaction. So from where we are getting these exponents we are getting, if we propose the mechanism, we have to see the slow step, look at the number of molecules involved in slow step, and they appears as the exponent in the rate law equation. Now this particular reaction, one reaction, we consider it as the elementary reaction. The second reaction we consider it as the elementary reaction, and this is the overall reaction. If we consider the molecularity of this particular reaction, we can assign it. This is 1 plus 1, so molecularity is 2. For this reaction also 1 plus 1, molecularity is 2. Now what is the molecularity of this overall reaction, which is complex one? We should say that the molecularity concept is not applicable. Why it is not applicable? If we say that the molecularity is 2, the reaction suggests that it is not the two H2O molecules are colliding simultaneously. The collision actually is taking place in first step between hydrogen peroxide and the iodide ion, and in second step hydrogen peroxide and the hypoiodide ion. So that's why it is not applicable, because the definition of molecularity says that number of reacting species which must collide simultaneously in the elementary reaction, and if we say molecularity is 2, it means two H2O molecules would have been collided, but which is not true if we look into this particular reaction. So the rate law is reflection of how experiment is going on, and by looking into the rate law, the mechanism is proposed for every reaction. Now we say that this slow step is crucial because again and again we use this word when we learn chemistry, that the slowest step of a reaction is rate determining step. We call it as RDS. There are many elementary reactions are taking place in the complete reaction, but the slowest step is important because that decides the rate of particular reaction, whether that reaction will take place faster or slow. Now, why the slowest step is rate determining step? I will give one example here. You try to understand by understanding that particular example. That we'll consider the example of a bicycle factory. There is one bicycle factory and it produces 50 bicycles per day. The output at the end of day, the 50 bicycles are assembled. There are different departments in that factory because different components are needed. There is one department which produces rims of the bicycle. There is another one department which produces the handles required for bicycle. The third department produces the seat required for that bicycle. The fourth one manufactures the brake required for bicycle. One more will take that it manufactures the pedals required for the bicycle. We know that one unit of bicycle or one unit of bicycle, we need two rims because every bicycle needs that. One handle is required, one seat is required, two brakes are required, and two pedals are required. On the given day, I'll make one more column here. Number of units manufactured on the given day is they produces the 100 rims, 50 handles, 40 seats, 100 brakes and 100 pedals. If you look at the third column, number of bicycles assembled out of it, the 100 rims are sufficient for 50 bicycles, 50 handles are sufficient for 50 bicycles. The 40 seats, it will produce only 40 bicycles. 100 brakes can produce 50 bicycles when they assemble together, and 100 pedals, again 50 bicycles can be assembled out of it. Now at the end, when they are being assembled, the slow performing department on that day is the seat department. Every bicycle need seat, so we cannot have this, there are excess in it, but this is one which is not producing it with optimum speed. So on that day only 40 bicycles can be produced, can be assembled means can be produced. So the speed of production of bicycle does not depend on that department which is working at optimum speed, but it depends on that department which works slowly. If this department also would have been produced 50 seat, then the bicycle assembled can be 50. So even though reactions are happening at different speed, the slowest step of a particular reaction is very crucial in determining the overall rate of the reaction. So this is one example. I think you understand now why the slow step is crucial. Regarding the mechanism, you need not to worry about the mechanisms of the reaction, because you need not to remember all these examples. In the question they will give the mechanism and they will ask how to determine the rate law out of it, or that particular mechanism suggest which rate law. 4 options will be given and we have to select the appropriate option. I will take practice of this in this particular lecture. But you should know what mechanism is, what are the components of it, and how it supports the experimental rate law which we have already determined by doing the experiment. Now the most important part is that we should distinguish now between the two concepts we have. One is the order of reaction and the molecularity of the reaction. We should be able to distinguish between these two concepts. Many times question has been asked in the theory examination for 2 marks. Distinguish between the order of reaction and the molecularity of the reaction. So you should able to clearly distinguish between these two concepts, because they seems to be similar but they are not. We will see the differences into it. The first difference, we can say, we have to write the definition, because that definition suggests how these two things are different. For the order, we said it is the sum of powers of concentration of reactant in rate law equation. For molecularity, we said number of reacting species, atoms, ions or molecules take part in elementary reaction which must collide simultaneously to bring about chemical reaction. So first is the difference. Then second, we can say that it is experimentally determined, because the order can be understood only by looking into rate equation, and rate equation itself is experimentally determined. So order is experimentally determined, and if the elementary reaction is before us and if they ask the molecularity of it, it is very simple to calculate that. Just look into the stoichiometric coefficients, add them together and you get the molecularity. Of course, if it is elementary reaction, then only we can do that, but the molecularity concept itself is applicable to the elementary reaction. So you can say that it is theoretically calculated. It is theoretically calculated. The third point, we can say that for the order of reaction, it can be 0, the order can be 0, it can be negative or it can be fractional. But for the molecularity, we cannot say that. So molecularity cannot be 0. What we mean by 0 molecules are colliding? The concept itself is absurd. There is no meaning of it. So cannot be 0, cannot be negative, because number of molecules cannot be negative, and the number of molecules cannot be fractional. So it cannot be 0, it cannot be negative, or it cannot be fractional. So this is the third difference we can say about it. The fourth is, we can say that it is, I will not write again order is because already I have written it. It is applicable for elementary reaction as well as complex reaction. Every reaction will have its own rate law, because every reaction has its rate which can be determined by performing the experiment. So whether the reaction is elementary or complex, we can easily, of course not easy, it is experimental part, but we can calculate we can determine the order of reaction. But this molecularity concept, it is applicable only to elementary reaction. It is applicable only to the elementary reaction, because the definition itself has keyword elementary reaction. And I have told you also that in the mechanism of decomposition of hydrogen peroxide, just now I have explained that if we consider the overall reaction 2H2O2, that is not the molecularity of that, because it is not that 2H2O molecule, H2O2 molecule have been collided simultaneously. So it is applicable only to the elementary reaction. And the last point which is applicable to the order is in complex reaction. In complex reaction, order is given by the slowest state. You can recall the mechanism of hydrogen peroxide. The order with respect to hydrogen decomposition of hydrogen peroxide. The order with respect to hydrogen peroxide was 1, and with respect to iodide ion is also 1, and the same stoichiometric coefficients were present in the slowest step. So order is, in complex reaction, order is given by the slowest step. But in case of molecularity, we can say in complex reaction, if reaction is taking place in many steps, yes, I will. In complex reaction, we can say that the molecularity of the slowest step is nothing but order of overall reaction. Yes, can we say that the molecularity of the slowest step, the slow step was first one mole of hydrogen peroxide, 1 mole of iodide ion, 1 plus 1 2. The order in the rate law, H2O2 raised to 1, iodide ion raised to 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. So the molecularity of the slowest step is nothing but the order of overall reaction. So it is very important, these points are very important, because the concept seems to be similar, but there are this type of differences which we have listed here. The first is being definition, second is how they are determined, what are their possible values, where they are applicable, and for complex reaction they have different meaning into them, that how for complex reaction these two terms can be dealt with. So you have to prepare this question very carefully. Order and molecularity, distinguish between order and molecularity is very frequently asked question, and in MCQs also in different ways the question can be asked. Now this is all about the order and molecularity difference and elementary reaction and complex reaction and their mechanism. Now we'll take few more examples of mechanism, because this type of examples are seen in the different MCQs. So you again try to understand these examples. The first example I will give is that nitric oxide combines with bromine and it forms 2 moles of nitrosyl bromide. Nitrosyl bromide. If you look at the rate law for this reaction, rate equals to rate constant. This nitric oxide raised to 2 means order with respect to this nitric oxide is 2, and with respect to bromine it is equal to 1. This is the rate law which we observed by the experiment. Increase the concentration of nitric oxide 2 times by keeping this bromine concentration constant, rate will increase by 2 raised to 2, 4 times. Increase the concentration of bromine by keeping this nitric oxide constant 2 times, rate will also increase by 2 raised to 1, 2 times. Increase the concentration of nitric oxide also 2 times, bromine also 2 times. How many times rate will increase? We have completed this question. 2 square 4, multiply by this 2 raised to 1 means 2. So 4 multiplied by 2, 8 times it will increase. That's the experimental evidence. That's why they got this. Now to suggest this rate law, to explain this rate law, the mechanism is proposed, and in that the step 1 is 1 molecule of nitric oxide combines with bromine and they reversibly gives this species. Of course this is intermediate, and in the step 2 this particular species combines with one more molecule, nitric oxide. We have two molecules. One molecule is used in step 1, another molecule is used in step 2. It combines with this intermediate and it forms 2 moles of this nitrosyl bromide. We can add this by just cancelling this intermediate from product and reactant side, and we have 2 moles of nitric oxide. We have this 1 mole of bromine and we get the 2 moles of nitrosyl bromide. We get this overall reaction which is similar to the equation given. Out of these 2 steps, the first step is faster one and this step is slower one. Again I am stressing that you need not to remember all these mechanisms will be provided to you and they will ask to arrive at this rate law. That's what we are doing now, how to arrive at it. So you can write by this slow step which happens to be rate determining step. So you can write this as rate equals to rate constant K and the reactant present into that step is nitric oxide and this intermediate present. So this is the intermediate present. Now we cannot have such a rate equation where intermediate is present, because in one step intermediate appears, in another step it disappears. So this value of concentration of intermediate we should write in terms of reactant, either nitric oxide or bromine. So I will write here one important point here, we have to remember this. If in rate equation molar concentration of intermediate, this concentration square bracket this molar concentration of intermediate appears, it should be replaced by value is calculated and then we have to replace, not by any disorder, replaced by concentration of reactant. Now how to do that I will show you. That this intermediate is formed in step 1 which happens to be the reversible reaction and we want to know its concentration value. We can calculate this by applying the concept of equilibrium constant. We can write this as equilibrium constant is equal to molar concentration of product divided by molar concentration of reactant raised to their appropriate powers. Here is 1, so it is 1, here is 1 more. Now we are in position to calculate the concentration of this intermediate. It is intermediate concentration is equal to K equilibrium molar concentration of this nitric oxide and molar concentration of this bromine. So you can replace this in this particular reaction because this equal to nitric oxide reactant, bromine reactant, it should be replaced by the reactant. So this sentence is very important sentence because many MCQs are based on it. We can say this equation 1 and we can write here, substitute the concentration of this intermediate in equation 1 and the equation 1 becomes this rate constant K, this nitric oxide as it is, and for that we are writing this equilibrium constant, this nitric oxide and this bromine. We have two constant here, constant into constant is constant only, so we should not worry about it. We should write a new constant or let it be K, and this raised to 1 and raised to 1, they should be added, and we should say that nitric oxide raised to 2 and concentration of bromine raised to 1. So this is the rate equation which we have been obtained by just looking into the mechanism and writing this equation, substituting the concentration of intermediate, and we are getting this particular equation. So you should be very perfect into it, that we should see the mechanism given, we have to write this step, and if intermediate is appearing in the slowest step, it should be replaced by the concentration of reactant. So because there are many questions which are based on this concept, that's why I am stressing this particular concept. I will take one more example of it so that you can understand it in a better way. See this reaction which I am taking now. This is the decomposition of the ozone. The reaction which we are referring now is the decomposition of the ozone to form the oxygen. We can balance it in this way, and we can write the rate equation, rate equals to rate constant, and then it is ozone concentration square and molar concentration of the oxygen raised to 1. Negative power, we are getting order of reaction can be negative, already we have mentioned it. Only few examples of like this, but this is exactly the example. Now I write the mechanism. You need not to remember this mechanism, because such questions will not be asked in theory and MCQs also, because it is not just memory based examination, these are concept based examinations. So only how to arrive at this rate law of the given options, we have to select the correct rate law for it. So it is a step 1, this ozone molecule. It is also reversible step, just like previous example. It is oxygen and it forms the, we call it as nascent oxygen, which is very reactive oxygen. And in step 2, the another molecule of ozone combines with this nascent oxygen and it forms 2 moles of oxygen. So this is the intermediate, and this is the slow step, and this is the fast step. They have experimentally done and understood their rate. If we add them together, 2 moles of ozone and it gives 3 moles of dioxygen. This is the overall reaction. Now how to arrive at that rate equation? We can say that rate equals to, from slow step, rate constant K, this molar concentration of ozone and molar concentration of this nascent oxygen. But this happens to be intermediate, and we have written one sentence, we have marked it also, that intermediate should not be in that equation which decides the on which factor rate is determined, which is rate law. So we should replace it with proper term in terms of reactant. So we can say that from step 1, we can use this equation as 1. From step 1 means we are referring to this step. Again it is reversible. So we can write this as K equilibrium is equal to molar concentration of oxygen and then molar concentration of this nascent oxygen, and it should be divided by the molar concentration of this ozone. This is a product divided by reactant. Then we can say that this oxygen concentration is equal to the equilibrium constant and then multiplied by ozone divided by the oxygen. It should be substituted. It should be substituted in equation 1. So we are getting the intermediate concentration value in terms of reactant. So this rate equals to rate constant K. This is ozone concentration, and for that the equilibrium constant and this concentration of ozone divided by molar concentration of oxygen. This is constant, so we can say it is K, and this is raised to 1, this is raised to 1, so we can write this as molar concentration raised to ozone raised to 2 here, 1 plus 1, 2, and as it is divided here, so this is oxygen raised to minus 1. So it means that rate is inversely proportional to the concentration of oxygen. If we increase concentration of ozone 2 times, rate will decrease here. That's what we mean by the negative order, but such reactions are very rare and they are not part of our syllabus. But just this particular example is given in the question and once asked also. That's why I have stressed this particular example. So look at this all terms what we have written on the board, how we obtain the rate law from the mechanism. So this is 2 examples we have taken after decomposition of hydrogen peroxide. I will take one more in the next class. The important is trying to establish the correlation between rate law and the mechanism. But remember that the mechanism is proposed to support the rate equation. It is not vice versa. It is not that mechanism first comes and then rate equation comes. Rate equation is first observed experimentally, and to support that rate equation, mechanism is proposed. If that particular mechanism is not in accordance with rate equation, it will be discarded. New mechanism is proposed. Of course, this comes under very advanced study, but we'll take one example of such in the next class. So, thank you for watching this video.